Shalom, shalom. How you doing? How you doing? Long time no hear. Uh, a long time. It's been a minute. Um, I wanted to say thank you first and foremost to all of you all that are still subscribed to my channel, even though it's been a while since I've uh, uploaded anything. I'm still living in Israel, and so with that being said, um, do I need to say more? Sheesh. Still living in Israel. Want to say thank you again for being in. I'm doing a broadcast now and wanted to say just thank you all to those that tuned in. If you go on the Nubian King channel, put a link up over there. Just 1 second, I'll put a link up and invite you over. Today I'm going to talk about just relationships because I'm seeing a lot of information, people, talking about relationships, and just want to chop it up and share some experience. Okay, so Eric, you see the link over there? It's over in the comment section on the it's on let me send you an invite direct to your WhatsApp. Well, here's the invite to your WhatsApp. You see it? Hit me up, Dad. Come on, let's chop it up. Talk about relationships a little today. All right, bro. Yeah, so wanted to focus a little bit on this relationship deal because I'm seeing a lot of really, really young brothers and sisters deal with this subject. And just being honest with you, it's not looking too good. The reason why it's not looking too good is because a lot of these people are kind of young. They're around their 30s or less, maybe a tad bit above. And the reason why I say that's not looking too good is because they're really kind of young to actually know the things that they're trying to tackle. Because most of them, it's like a lot of them not even married. So if you're talking about getting in a relationship, what I'm seeing is a lot of sisters talking about men, and they're speaking about men in a manner like they're experts on men. But the majority of them are single. And it's I'm gonna just say it. It's like, okay, so what is your objective? You know all of this about men, and you're saying these things in a manner that you actually, is an expert, but at the same time, you're single. And you're talking to other sisters that are single too. So what is the objective? Well, I wanted to dive into this topic of male-female relationship because it's interesting. And I've worked a season as a marriage counseling, couples. And one of the main things that I notice in these relationships when I'm counseling them is they all suffer from the exact same problem. And I got it here on the description, LOC, LOC. And that means lack of communication. Lack of communication. Lack of communication. Meaning, you're not able to actually talk to your partner, communicate to them, communicate to them your thoughts. You understand what your desire is, you know. So let's look up communication. Communication, so we all be on the same page about communication. Taking this out of the Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, communication is commonly defined as the transmission of information. Its precise definition is disputed, and there are disagreements about whether unintentional or failed transmission are included and whether communication not only transmit meaning but also create. The models of communication are simplified overviews as main. Because, well, I don't want that. I think that they answered the question in the beginning. The communication is commonly defined as the transmission of information. That will fit into our narrative today. The lack of communication, the lack of the transmission of information between the two parties that's involved in a relationship. When you're at a point in a relationship where you two can't hear each other, you're going to have a problem. When I was counseling couples, I mean, like, man, every single absolute couple, every single person involved in the relationship, every single couple after couple, marriage after marriage, relationship after relationship, had the exact same problem. And I'm not talking about similar. I'm not talking about something close. I'm not talking about something kind of familiar. I am telling you 100% of every single relationship that I counsel suffered and was struggling and was failing because of the exact same problem. And that was a phrase I coined called LOC, L-O-C, lack of communication. The failure of the ability to transfer information to your partner that you're in a relationship with. Like, in other words, we say it short, I can't talk to him, or I can't talk to her. And just that simple statement says, we have a lack of communication here. I can't transfer the information to you, to your mind, that I need to get to you because you're not hearing me. And that's where it sounds when we're in a relationship, you kind of get fired up, you angry. And so there's no transfer of information. And believe it or not, when I got the couple, the two individuals in the relationship, when I got them to the ability that they could stop, relax, open your ears, and sit down and hear the information that the other member of the relationship was trying to impart upon them, boom, we had success. Come to find out, it wasn't even nowhere near like what they was thinking. They just was not hearing the information that their partner was trying to share with them. Excuse me, just that simple. Lack of communication. So when we look across this internet and we see all these sisters talking about men, and we see all these brothers talking about women, you know why ain't nobody getting together? Lack of communication. Not able to transfer the information to the sisters that we brothers was like to give them, and the sisters not able to transfer the information that those sisters would like to give up. So it's just a stalemate. You come into these sittings and you be on these podcasts and everybody be talking and the brothers be talking and the sisters be talking and everybody get up and leave just like when they came, single. Not even in this podcast was enough good information shared and received to where those across the table could have possibly came in to that room single and left out with a potential mate. You understand? I mean, right here in this room, they're talking about these relationships, okay? But because of the lack of communication, nobody in this room was able to walk out with someone. So there you go. The lack of communication, the inability to transfer information to the other party. Lack of communication. When I got the individual to a point where they could listen to each other, then we began to make progress. Great brother.
Hey man, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I hear you loud and clear. Let me bring you up. Let me bring you up. I gotta get me moved over.
Yeah,
How we doing today?
we're great. We're great. I'm down south and with parrots and toucans and monkeys and barking dogs.
You back over there in that beautiful place called Brazil?
That's where I'm at.
You don't feel a little bad for me, bro?
No, because I keep saying, "Come on!" I got 16 rooms.
Man, I'm on the way, bro.
Come on.
You don't feel like Nubian King, Yeah, I got to finish up this contract. You know what the deal is. I'll be
Oh,
out
I
there.
know. Oh, I know.
So what I'm doing, man, I'm just kind of chopping it up real lightly about a relationship, bro, because I see so much, so many people, talking about relationship, and they're young,
Yeah.
and most of them are not married, and I just decided to dive into this topic because of the fact that maybe I could say something to help somebody,
Right.
And so the name of this broadcast today is LOC, LOC, which I've coined the phrase of lack of communication. And so just to kind of bring you up to speed, I was sharing with the listeners that as a priest, when I counsel so many brothers and sisters up here in Israel in their marriages or preparing to get married, what have you, that many of the couples in relationship, even if they weren't married, they were just in a relationship and wanted to get a better, working relationship. What I discovered is that each and every one of them had the exact same problem. It wasn't 99%, it wasn't 97%. It was absolutely 100% of the individual that when they had issues in their relationship, the problem was lack of communication. And so we define communication as what? I went to the Wikipedia to define communication so we all be on the same page. And it says communication is commonly defined as the transmission of information. So when we in the relationship with our partners, male, female, whoever it is, and we start having these problems, what I found in counseling all these people was just that, the lack of communication. Now, when we talk about it, we be saying, she ain't listening. She don't hear me, or he ain't hearing me, or I can't talk to her, or I can't talk to him. Well, they just simply saying the same thing. I cannot transfer the information to her that I'm trying to get to her, and she's saying she can't transfer the information to him that she's trying to get to him. So we're at a stalemate because we can't hear each other. And I always say, wait a minute now, if you got two intelligent people in this relationship, two heads is always better than one. I don't even care if it's two heads of lettuce. If you got two heads of lettuce, that means you can eat more. So if you got two heads in one relationship, all striving for the one same thing, happiness in the relationship, why is it so hard to get there? If both of you all are striving for the same thing, why is it so difficult for two intelligent people to get to the same objective? And that's happiness in relationship. So when I'm talking to them, there's a process that I've used. You sit down in the beginning, both of them, and okay, tell me what y'all want me to know. I'm the priest, and my position is the marriage counselor. So the first thing you all have to know is we're sworn to secrecy. That means anything that you share with me will absolutely, unequivocally go nowhere else. So you can feel free to open up. So they both there, they get to talking, and it always be a situation where one is trying to pull me over on their side. The other trying to pull me over on their side. But okay, I'm just listening because this first sitting, I'm here to do that. Just listen. And then at a certain point, depending on the spirit, how the spirit moves me, I'll end this sitting because I'm just, gathering information, getting a feel for who and what I'm dealing with. So then I have a next sitting with the brother. And that way, when I have the sitting with the brother, okay, I got your back, man. When I had a sitting with the brother, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah.
Okay, loud and clear. So when I had a sitting with the brother, he opened up, he tell me more things about what he's experiencing with, the sister. I got that. And then I have a sitting with the sister, and she opened up and share more experience about what she having with her brother. Now I got those two bits of personal information, and I meditate on them, and then I begin to, put together a healing process. And it's always it's just so simple. It is so simple. Just talk to each other. Now, the one key that I use, and this worked on everybody, you have got to respect what she's telling you, my man. I don't care, you, brother, may think she is telling you the most organically bat-it stupid stuff ever in the history of stupid stuff ever told. That might be her. It may sound so wacky and crazy, you just want to laugh in her face. But guess what? You can't do that. You can't do that. Because that's her truth. That's where she's at. She's right there, bro. That she done open up for once in this relationship and reveal to you where she's at mentally. And you can't play it off as silly. And then I go to the sister and same thing. I got to talk to her about listening to this that he's telling her, and she can't, they ain't, disrespectfully cast it to the wind. Because that way, neither one of you are receiving the information that your partner is trying to share with you about what it is they're talking about. And so every last one of the relationship, excuse me, bro, I'm coughing because I'm getting over a cleanser. Every one of the relationship that I sat with ended up in success. Why? Because they was able to just talk to each other. It's like I guess, excuse me, it's like over a period of time, this kind of meanness, animosity. You still with me? I don't see you. Okay, there you go. See that beautiful place you got down there? You're on mute over there. So it's like over a period of time, they built up this type of animosity towards each other, to where I see the view, to where you can't talk to him because he mad at her about something she did 6 months ago. That if I asked him what it was, he done forgot. Same with her. And so you carry this kind of energy to where now you can't talk to each other because you upset or ticked off about something that happened that neither one of you could sit down and just talk to, listen. And so at the end of the day, what did I do? I got them to just talk to each other. And it was so smooth in front of me. In front of me. I just got them to sit in that room with me. We had a few sittings together. And I said, I don't want to talk about nothing. I want to watch you all talk to each other. And so when they realized that, when the brother realized that he could just really talk to the sister, because now she listening. And then when the sister got to the point where she really could talk with the brother, because he's listening. Oh man, it was like, oh, Kohen, priest, Kohen, man, thank you so much. It was like a whole burden, whole big stone lifted off their shoulders, and all they had to do was just talk to each other and respect what each other was saying. Just that simple. Just that simple. Don't have to be complicated. So anyway, I'm glad you're here so you can share your thoughts. I know you got some. You got a successful marriage there. You live in the life of Riley. I see you over there in beautiful, you're in Sao Paulo.
Just outside of Sao Paulo. I'm in the wine country in Sound Hockey, Brazil.
You gonna rub it in? See all of
No, 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 no,
that.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
not at all.
See all of that. See all of that. I see it. Yeah, I got to get down there, man. I got a bunch of places to go when I get up out of Israel. I got 2-3 countries to go to, a bunch of folks to see.
Well, you come down here and you'll definitely have your challenges with relationships. I do agree that often a significant part of challenges in a relationship is communicating a specific message. But I often think it's probably a little more than that too, though. Because suppose you're in a relationship, you're communicating whatever your message is, but the environment doesn't permit it. So how do you find yourself being able to create a space where you could really say what's going on? And I'm not surprised that they decided to talk in front of you, because what I discovered when I was in college, I got a little undergrad, did a couple classes in communication and psychology, and discovered when there's a couple, there's a sort of a duadic situation. So there needs to be a third person to break the tie. Because in a couple, there's 50-50. If you're going to make 100. So often a third person can break the tie, and they may not necessarily break the tie by agreeing with one or the other, but they do show their concurrence with the position. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, bad or good. It's just saying that it allows both parties, A and B, to feel safe, in the sense, a little bit safer, that maybe the things that they've said, like for instance, you never let me finish making my point. And the other side would say, well, yes, I do. Your point just never ends. But the third party could say, well, calm down now. At least let them have 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever that time is. So I think relationships as a whole, in general, are a challenge. And I think it's funny, not funny, but ironic that this would be your topic, because one of my favorite things to explore are dynamics within relationships, believing that they all start with trust, say communication, problem solving, taking risk, support, failure, success. The main part of communication, from my understanding, is there's one person speaking and there's one person listening, but it is the responsibility of the message sender to assure that the listener receives the message that was intended. And often, depends on the situation and on the environment, will determine whether there's a open door that allows that type of clarity and clarification.
I wanted to ask you about the environment. Help me to understand better. Give me an example of what you mean the environment may or may not allow you to be able to communicate. Is that what you're saying? The environment may or may not allow you to communicate properly?
Yeah.
The environment. Give me an
A couple
example.
of okay, and all right, here's an example. We're in a space where there are distractions that interfere with our time to express whatever the message is. An environment is not, and then not just a physical environment, also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Social environments.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the right word would be in this particular setup, but history. History. Here's an example. You know, if you ever you've touched fire before, most everyone has
At
to
some
some
point,
degree. They
right,
touched something that's hot,
right.
and they touched it. And the first time, it might have been an accident, and they didn't realize what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even the second time it was an accident. But they do everything in their power to make sure there's not a third time.
Yeah, because you know now.
Right, right. First time you weren't sure. The second time you're like, for sure, that's what happened.
Right.
The third time, I'm just gonna make sure I don't even
It,
go in that
it
space.
don't happen. Right.
Okay, so here's kind of to me, and I'm making this phrase up, kind of emotional laid landmine environment.
Mm-hmm.
So you've talked about a subject 1,000 times, and the person be like, "I ain't gonna talk about that no more."
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've already defiled the environment in my mind out the gate because you've already said, in order to even begin to communicate with me, I'm not going to talk about your core issue.
Hmm.
You've already said, I'm not talking about my mother-in-law ever again.
So you know, shut that down.
You done shut it down. Well, that
Mm-hmm.
was the thing I was arguing about, or,
Mm-hmm.
trying to express my concerns.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's off limits. So now everything around it, to me, is kind of fake because you never really got to where you were trying to go, but you tolerate it and you push it to the side and you allow it to persist.
But then
And
that
now,
thing, go
go
ahead.
for it. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
And that thing that you pushed over there to the side is actually the real issue
Correct. Or it
that
could be
you
one, it could be the or one of, yes.
right that you let just fester until it got big and big and big.
I tell you, I think that becomes the illusion of the real issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think then the reality of the issue is it's really not that thing. It's you not allowing me to talk about that thing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's me not knowing how to either present whatever I have to say
About that thing.
about that thing where I can get you to hear it,
And so
and
we
vice
had a
versa.
stalemate in the relationship.
Yeah, about that specific thing, I think. Or
Right.
some person just decides to sacrifice their position
Mm-hmm.
and they get over it.
Let it go.
Yeah, somebody, my parents were married for 50 years, like
Mm-hmm.
more than 50 years. And I said to my mom, like, man, that's
That's
a
good.
long time. I
See,
mean,
see those the kind of people, those the kind of people
mm,
that need to be out here talking. All these young bucks that's in their 20s and 30s, they need to shut up and listen to parents like yours that's been there 50 years together. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? That's
I
my
tell you this.
thing.
This is what I think. I think I asked my mom flat out, cold turkey, how do you stay married to somebody for 50 years or more? And she cold turkey shut it down, and said, just don't quit. Just don't leave. There ain't no miracle magic. Just don't leave. He gonna do some stupid stuff. You're gonna do some stupid stuff. Don't leave. Okay, if you leave, come back. And I remember watching the ridiculous stuff that happened as I was growing up, and I always thought, hmm, hmm, that's interesting. So, and another thing she said to me was, if someone is in a marriage and something ain't working right, it's never one person's fault.
Hmm.
Like under no circumstance is it only that one person's fault. I could
Hmm.
imagine in some, some violent situations there might be, but most other thing, yeah. So I don't know. It would be great if you had an open line call in section, because I think it's different for every person. It's depending on the situation, depending on, do people penalize you for what's happening today based on the things, as you said earlier, that they resent, that built up from time back. Um, I think if the two people or three people or whatever people are, if they decide they want to be together,
Hmm.
they just stay. They decide that they don't, they leave. It's
Hmm.
oversimplified, but I think at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to.
I would have to I could come on a lot later for me for my time because what time is it over there where you at
9 o'clock
in the
a.m.
morning?
Yeah,
In the
9
morning.
a.m. Mm-hmm.
And see over here is 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Afternoon. So I could come on later, like 7, 8 in the evening, and that way it'll give more people, at least on the East Coast, a chance to get up, and then we could put up a call in to begin the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
What I really would love to do is get some of these senior brothers and sisters on here that's done had these marriages for 30 years, 40, 50 years, and let them chop it up because being 63
Yeah.
and watching the young brothers and sisters go back and forth with each other,
Uh-huh.
they, I have a hard time believing that they really know, you know, the correct information because you have to look at the results. Okay, I've been married 22 years, you
Mm-hmm.
know, 6 children, grandchildren, all of that. So I can tell you some things about marriage, and divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for another relationship. So in other
Uh-huh.
words, been there, done that. You married. You and your
Right.
wife is cool, Modi.
Right.
So how long y'all been married?
Jesus, like 25 years.
There you go. So you have the right to speak about relationship. And so you put brothers like me and you in the room with some young pups, 25, 30, never been married. I'm that old school guy, like sit down, shut up, and listen.
Ah,
You know
see,
what I'm
you
saying?
know what
I'm there.
I often say, okay, I got the coolest wife there is, period. And that's
Uh-huh.
the truth. But if I wasn't married to my wife, I don't think I'd
Uh-huh.
get married.
Uh-huh.
I don't, I just, I'm not sure if I would. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. I know I said I'm only going to do it one time. And if that one time don't work, I ain't never doing it again.
Uh-huh.
So, so fortunate for me, my deal has been working out pretty well. But when I, think about the reality, if people would be honest, I think if you're talking about marriage, I know for me, my wife is my friend. My wife really is kind of cool. And so, and I probably spend more time with my wife than anybody I know
Mm-hmm.
because of she works out of the house, I work out of the house. She's been an executive, I've been an executive, but generally I've always worked for myself. So wherever she may get moved around the world, I see my wife every day, like from copious hours every day. So uh go to retreats, go to so we're always together. And I love modeling that type of relationship to our kids. We have a son and a daughter.
Do you touch her every day, like maybe the hand, the arm, a hug, a kiss, or something on
If
her
I'm in
flesh?
the
Do
if
you
I'm in
touch
the country, yeah, I touch my wife every day.
I had
Yeah,
one of
that
the I had one of the elders tell me, um, "Excuse me, bro, I've been cleansing, man, and this stuff is draining out of me." That's why I'm muting the mic. I'm cleansing. The
sure.
weather's changing up here, so I'm going to a cleanse. But I had one of the elder brothers tell me, "Young buck, don't ever get to a point where you're not touching your girl every day on the skin. Like, I mean, a handshake,
He's right.
hold on the arm, give a little kiss or something." He said because the touching of the flesh is the unification of the spirit. And see, these are the type things that the young pups don't know how to work this piece. Because you're doing a lot of talking, bro. It's like I'm listening and the brother's just talking. The sister done took the money that he had saved up to pay for the child's heart operation and took the money and went to see a Beyonce show. And the brother just talking. You're talking too much, bro. Bro, you're talking too much. And she talking about she don't care, she don't care. Pack her ass up and put out their house, man. First of all, she has zero respect for you. Why? Because she did that. Something in your character has shown this woman that she could disrespect you on that level. One thing I say about Billy, why he get mad respect? Because he on record for tapping that behind. So he get mad respect, bloody lip, black eyes, big nose, and be all on and so a lot of that stuff is not necessarily racist. Some of those things are for control factors to put the fear in you. So again, a couple of days yesterday, I saw this sister over there with Billy, and Billy done snapped, went back into his regular self, big lip, bloody eye, and she all crying. It's all over the internet. You know what I'm saying? So when they get with Billy, they already know don't go there. But then when they get with the brother, they go there because the brother is talking and talking and talking. And this sister done took the money that the man done worked hard to save up to get the child a heart operated and went to a God Beyonce concert. Can you believe that? Is she filthy rich? Don't need another dime forever. And this child don't know what's going to happen to the child now because don't know if she's going to be able to get the operation. And the sister did not care because she said it. I don't care. I don't care. He said, so what's going to happen to the child? Is the
The
child
girl
going
ought
to
to
die?
the guy ought to reach out to Beyonce and ask for a
The money back.
surgery.
The money
No,
back.
yeah, just say, hey,
Get the
Beyonce, you
surgery.
got money. Help me get a surgery.
You got my
That's
money.
that sounds like a really good story. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
It's like, dude, what? So man, it's a mess. And so when I came up, it was our fathers and mothers who were our examples of how to do this. Okay. Pops had his position in the family and he worked it. Mom's, she had her position in the family and she worked it. She knew he was the head of the house. He knew she worked with him. They worked together. They harmoniously worked together. She was not a servant to him. She wasn't a slave. And I'm using these words because I hear these vernaculars being tossed around today by these young ladies talking about, I ain't trying to be nobody's slave, cook and clean and all that. So why would you equate cooking and cleaning with slavery? You see this generation has been bamboozled really by our enemies to the point where they can't even get with us because they've been psychologically bamboozled to hate us. And that causes another level of what? Birth control. Because when you ain't getting together, you ain't having babies. Or if you are getting together, you're having babies out of stupid wedlocks. And then you start seeing videos of the brother come and pick his child up from the other three and take his child to Disneyland, and the other three baby daddies crying their eyes out because they ain't going to Disneyland. All kind of crazy stuff like that happening that they put on the internet as if it ain't happening with them and no other situation. And we getting bamboozled off of that because this is what we see. And then when you see that situation, it's always young folks. The young folks. Because who they listen to? Beyonce and each other? I mean, Shazam.
What would you like to see happen instead?
I would like to see more elders come forth speaking about how to do what they talking about, they trying to do, is have a relationship. When I see these podcasts where these people come and they just hollering and screaming at each other back and forth across the table, the brother ain't listening, the sister ain't listening, they just screaming back and forth, and they all talking about relationship. The sisters are sitting there talking about men as if they masters of the minds of men. And the brothers sitting there talking about the sisters as if he's the master of the mind of the sisters, and they talking about relationship and get with each other, and it's 5 sisters over there, 4 brothers over here. Everybody in the room single. And they talking about what need to be done to get in a relationship. And at the end of that podcast, an hour and a half podcast, guess what? Not now one of them in that room that was talking about getting together as if they were expert got together. They're all single, just like when they came in. But you were the ones that had the podcast about the subject of getting together as if you was experts. So why is it that nobody in this room walked out of here talking with each other in a manner to have a potential relationship? And you done sit up here and had 97,000 people tune in to this bullshit for an hour and a half, and ain't nobody got together. So what I would like to see is these elders, just like your parents that was together all those decades, come forth and talk and have these young pups sit down, shut up and listen, because you don't know nothing. Just like I just told you, the old man said, don't let a day go by that you don't touch your woman's flesh. Hold the back of her arm with your hand. Because why? Touching of the flesh is the unification of the spirit. And if you get to a point where you stop touching each other's flesh, you begin to spiritually drift. You don't hear them talk about stuff like that in these sitting. They're all talking about money. It's all based on money, what he can do for me, the kind of money he got. Money, materialism. And you know good well, ain't that many brothers walking around here with 6-figure job, 6 foot, 6-pack, driving nice car, got an own home with excellent credit, looking for you. You're looking for a man that don't even exist. And so the whole value system is shot to put, and you got somebody in your head that you out there looking for is invisible. That's why you hear the young ladies talking about ain't no good men, because they've been bamboozled. So now what done happened is the brothers that had a taste of these other women, including me. See, I told you, I speak from experience. I dated a Filipina, and she the one that told me. Filipina is the female, Filipino is for the male. I dated a Filipino girl. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't want no woman from no other race, brother. I have mad respect for them other women from the other race and what have you. But us, fundamental brothers and sisters, born and raised in America, went through that American experience, we have something that no other race can relate to. Not a one. Now, all those Europeans that was in there with us and saw what we was doing, that got some black on them, yay. But you ain't no sister. You just not no sister. And so they see that. And what is the greatest power on this planet? Us. That is our minds. Hey, we still seeing stuff come up out of Africa. Young brother made a doggone car out of cardboard. What? Then this brother over there done made a car. Don't need to charge it up. What? Brother making energy out of the radio frequencies in the air. What? So when them folks go in there and find that out and find out the nuts and bolts on how it works, poison him. His friend working with him died, but he held in there. And this is the fight we're having. And so when it comes down to the relationship, when have you ever seen real successful men do this thing single? All of these men that's moving and grooving and shaking this earth have their female counterpart with them. All of them. And so who is the most powerful men on the planet? Us. How do I know that? I'm gonna share with you what they said. See, them European, white folks, for some people that don't know, they went out and did a DNA analysis. And they discovered that the DNA series is what make intelligent. And so when they got a good understanding of this, that the more DNA series you have, the more intelligent you are. Right there is where they set out to prove that we of African descent are inferior to them of European descent. This is what they set out.
Right.
First thing they did, they went into the animal kingdom because the animals have DNA. And they tested the first animal, saw that animal had 3 DNA series. I think it was the chimpanzee. And then they went to the monkey, had 4 DNA series, and went to the orangutan, had 5 DNA series. Then after that, they claimed, the orangutan is the most intelligent animal of all the animal species on Earth. Then they went into their own European, and they didn't go into America, they went into Europe. Why? Because they know the root of the European came from over there and not in America. They know the whole story. They know the truth. They went over there and took that land. So when they got up in there, they saw that they had 5 DNA series. So now they feeling real good about themselves because they have they 1 DNA series above the animal. So they say, okay, we more intelligent than animals, but they only 1 DNA series up. All right, now they finna go down here and deal with the African. Let me make a footnote right here. For years, they have told the world that we're inferior, but they didn't have no concrete proof. It was just something they said. And for those that understand how the mind works, if you tell the lie good enough, 7 times minimum, and you keep running it, it's going to eventually be what? Absorbed and believed as the truth. So they just been lying to the world about us being inferior, but they didn't have any solid concrete proof. So this DNA analysis that they did gave them concrete proof of superiority based on DNA series. So now they ready to run up into Africa all giddy because remember, they have been convinced. They have been convinced just by being told that they're more superior than us. This is what they got to go on, some lie that they've been told. So they ready to run up into Africa because they done discovered that they have 6 DNA series, 1 DNA series above the smartest animal. Now they finna go down here and boo, 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 and find out what kind of series we got.
Mhm.
First African they test what? Wait a minute. Let's recalibrate equipment. So he recalibrated equipment, test it again. Batteries got to be bad. Test it again, new batteries. What? Sent off, got brand new equipment. Come back, find out that the African have 9 DNA series. Whoa! What? 9? That means that the African brother and sister's intellect is way more superior than every person on this earth. Now I say that boldly because why? They proved it.
Yeah.
They proved it.
Yeah.
They proved it. And you know what they did? After that information came out, what did they do? They copyrighted it and put it on the shelf, and it was never supposed to be heard of again. But Dr. Johnson, geneticist, broke it all down on like a 20-minute YouTube video.
Mhm.
So our greatness is still to be revealed. And that's why when it comes to commingling with other races of people, we always going to be superior. Look at what's happening. Every time you look up, they get in trouble. Who they call on us? What's happening with these people of color out there protesting? Because now they done discovered that it was brothers and sisters fight for justice and all this everything that we fought for over the years that also included them. Now they getting their butts whooped because they rolling back some of those benefits, and then they out there protesting and upset because black folks ain't out there with them. Well, let me ask you this. Where was y'all at when we needed help? Somewhere sitting on the TV looking, playing fussy with the folks. Now the folks done showed you they don't give a crap about you. Now you out there hollering, oh, where black folks at? Sitting back, letting y'all handle y'all business. Just like when we was out there by ourselves. Same thing. Go ahead and handle it. Go, you do it. Because you came up in here, all right, and then they turned their nose up to us as if we didn't matter. Now they on a jam asking for us. Look at Japan. Japan talking about they had such a terrible birth rate in a year, they probably ain't gonna have too much of nobody running around. Everybody old as dirt and dying. So what are they doing? They're gonna get a black man $50,000, a house, a car to come over there and get with their women to try to push out some babies to save their race. You see that? So everybody want to tap into the black man. Then Valinsky, with his evil butt, want to run into Africa to try to get some soldiers to fight for them. But then it was the black brothers and sisters in college that the heathen left standing out there in the freezing cold with the baby. Now you want to run back over here to Africa to try to get some, man, screw y'all. And so the point of what I'm making, when it comes to relationship, we the only one that can relate to each other.
You're right. Yeah.
But we got to get to a point where we realize, man, if somebody else done popped a wedge in between us is why we can't communicate with each other and transfer thoughts and information and get on down the road about this thing. It should never be that 5 brothers and 5 sisters come into a room single, looking for a relationship, talking about relationship. If they know about relationship for an hour and a half, and then they get up and leave that room and don't nobody be in a relationship, or even going out of the room.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. Because that suggests, I think you're in a relationship. I think we have to be more definitive to what type of relationship. Okay. Initially, you didn't know each other. 5 people went in a room.
Had a podcast about relationship.
Yeah. Then they come out. I think there needs to be some time to for that information to percolate and to develop a relationship. Because I don't think an authentic, but let's go back to the first thing, as I said, to how do we define relationship and what type of relationship? A friendship, my boyfriend, girlfriend, my business partner. There's we're gonna go climb a mountain together. We might be able to. We might potentially die together. I think there relationship works on a swinging pendulum. And I wrote a book once, and I put this theory inside this book, and I used to call it um, the trust theory, and believing that it works on a swinging pendulum. Well, I believe relationships develop, grow, and operate on the same type of pendulum. So here's an example. In order for me to develop a relationship with a person, I believe um, the first thing has got to be trust. But then there's this swinging pendulum of trust. So it goes from absolutely no trust, and I'm going to correlate it with relationship, suggest absolutely no relationship. I don't trust you. I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to hurt me. So I have a relationship with you because I don't trust you. And there are thousands of reasons why I may or may not trust you. All right. So let's start with no trust at all, period. Then the next one, imagine like a pendulum on a grandfather clock or some sort. And to the far left is no trust. The next point to the right would be situational trust. I trust you in this situation. I trust you in, and that might be why when people go on a date, they go to a place where there's lots of people, open, because I trust you in this situation, in this specific environment. That's the next ping. The third one would be personal trust. I begin to trust you personally. Because we've been in open areas, we've been in private areas, we've talked about various things. I can talk to you. All right, personal trust. Then I think because I was developing this for executive coaching. Then it went from personal trust to professional trust, and professional trust is the reality is I kind of don't really trust you, but I trust the professional organization that you work for or that you represent. You might be, say, in a fraternity, so I trust your fraternity. You might be in a church, so I trust your church. You might have graduated from an Ivy League school, so I trust that institution. That institution. So it goes to professional / institutional trust. You get your job based on your resume, which would be all the institutions that vouched for you. And then I thought ultimate trust would be divine trust, where it's beyond me and you. It's a straight up God thing. And that starts to touch faith. So I believe relationships operate similarly. And so that's why it's important to define what is, when you say relationship, what level of relationship, what depth of relationship, what type of relationship, and in what environment does that relationship exist? So, and I correlate those with trust. So that's how I tend to think about it.
Man, that's powerful, bro. That's what environment that type of relationship exists. That's powerful. And that's a deep point too. It's like I'm over here living across from the beach. Look at you, that beautiful area you in down there. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Sao Paulo, Brazil. That type of environment could make you love somebody. You have a beautiful sister down there with you, chilled out like that. It'd be a blissful relationship just because you wake up and see that beautiful grass, hear them birds waving at your neighbors. Have nice breakfast. It could be loving.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
me over here, across from the beach. We get out and stroll over to the beach, stick foot in the water. Those type of environments give you some beautiful, you know, relationship. I did what you're saying. I just wanted to say something. I think I'm gonna kind of stick with this uh, vein, the relationship things, because I'm seeing a lot of brothers and sisters need help. Whether I can help them or not, I'm not sure. because I know that there's a bigger demon with a greater podium that's working against us as a people, through the communication networks and everything that they control. It focuses on mind control, and I see them. You understand how they see us.
Mm-hmm.
We're a threat to their survival, but they can't survive without us.
Right.
Even though they wish they could, if we disappear, that's a sure destruction for them. We ain't going nowhere.
Right.
So they done learn how to leech off of us.
Yeah.
So, this thing here, where these relationships, man, I'll focus on this topic and deal with this. I'll be back next week, because during the week my schedule has intensified so much. That's what I was explaining when I first started, sharing with the people that it's been one whirlwind over here. It seems like the time has been sped up. Like from the moment you open your eyes in the morning, if you don't get up right now and hit that flow, you're going to be late 30 minutes. The time just run away from you, It's like someone done sped the clock up. Like, are they really driving that fast, or am I going that slow? And when I look down, I'm doing 100 kilometers, and these jokers dashing past me like I'm standing on the side of the highway, not side of the road. It's like I'm standing on side the highway, bro, and jokers are whooshing past me, shaking my car. I'm boogieing down the road at 100 kilometers, thinking I'm getting on down the highway. It's just a boom. They go past me in them big old SUV. I had to look down at my speed. I'm just saying, am I going backwards? Who what? I'm doing 100 kilometers. That dude just shot past me like I was standing over there on the side in the emergency lane. What in the world is going on? But this is the world we live in, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You got to be smart. You got to be smart. We have an enemy that just straight up 100% organically hate us. And for all the great things we do easily, that they struggle to think about. I didn't say do. We do it easily, and they struggle thinking about it. Looking at us like, wow. Now I looked at these young brothers swimming, man. One thing, this internet is the great equalizer.
Well,
say that again.
That's why people have to control the communications.
Yeah, I was looking at these young teenage African-American sons swim. Oh, man, this guy give me goosebumps thinking about it, bro. I ain't never seen a human slice through the water that fast. Hell, I thought they had sped the camera up. No, them young sons was swimming like that. They got in that water like daggone sharks and fish. And again, bro, they lapped these other swimmers so far that I couldn't even keep up with how many laps ahead they were. I'm like, man, look at this. They the breaststroke, the butterfly, the American crawl, and them brothers was zoomed through that water. Oh man. And so, when you have a person, man, with a base-minded mentality, okay, here we go. You start off with a person with a base-minded mentality. They not even that intelligent, okay? And then you put them up against superhumans like us and cut us loose, bam! They still on the platform mad as hell because they ain't even got off yet. Their brother done finished the race. He get up out the water, dry himself up. They can't do nothing but be mad, man. That's all they got left, man. They can't. Yeah. That's it. The jokers done finished the race. I'm like, what? You bet you miss. It's over with, man. They standing over there on the podium. What was you looking at?
Yeah.
Oh, God. So, and you think, like one sister, she asked, why white people hate us so bad? She was just totally obliviated, just couldn't figure it out. But she said, is it something that we did? Yeah. Basically, yeah. She said, "Would somebody please help me? What did we do? Nothing. We were just born great, and they weren't, and they jealous. That's it. That's
Yeah.
all there is to it. We ain't did nothing. We did nothing." And then, you know, I see this race, and here we go with the comments. You got to go to the comments. That's where the truth gonna be told. And then, you know, the people like, well, here we go. You can wrap that up. They ain't the best swimmers no more. And who said black folk couldn't swim? Because they learned to swim in lakes and ponds and rivers after it rained. They ain't had no Olympic sized swimming pool and all the stuff. Them young boys learned to swim out there in the creek. And now they jumped in the pool and swim like fish. I said, oh God, it's something else they finna be mad at us about. Well, get ready. Woo! Love being great, man.
You
I,
know what it is? It's something like swimming. Most physical things, anyways, it's just a skill. And most people, well, I ain't gonna say most people. Some people have access to education to learn the skill, and some people don't. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm a kayak instructor, but I really detest.
you really
It's so
what?
much. I do not like swimming. It's so much work. I love being in the water, but I don't like, you know, being in the water, under the water,
Mm-hmm,
so, or gasping for breath while I'm in the water. But I
mm-hmm,
love being in my kayak, having my flotation device on and rolling through rapids or even on the open ocean. I completely adore that. But
mm-hmm,
that comes from growing up uh, and not spending a lot of time. Like in our creeks and rivers, there were rattlesnakes, not rattlesnakes, but moccasins, water moccasins, and all different types of things that would hurt you. So, and there was no swimming pool. So you could, you know, and you could go first 18 years of your life, 20 years of your life, never have an opportunity to get in water. But
mm-hmm.
then that argument does not exist if you grow up in the Bahamas, where
Right.
just about everybody's black and everybody lives right on the water, so everybody swims well. Not well, but yeah, to save their life well enough. Yeah. So that's I think a lot of times there's opportunity. That's why I talk about the 5 O theory, which is FIVE-O, because I believe it addresses a lot of even with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Um, F stand obviously I think I said to you before, F stands for faith. So if I don't believe in this relationship in this person, I ain't gonna do the work that's necessary to keep trying to move forward with it. If I don't identify with it and I'm not continually inspired to be in that space, I'm gonna put less energy into it. That's I. D being value. I get to a point where I've been humiliated or embarrassed, or she's been, you ain't made no money for me, and whatever the other things. We don't share the same values anymore. Um, and then E is exposure to know something exists. To then move emotionally to a space where you begin to think, well, maybe there's something else exists because this may or may not be working. And that goes right to O, which is opportunity, uh, creating a positive chance to try it or not try it. So people, I've always said in relationships, when you're thinking about leaving, you're already gone. So it's just a matter of, has that opportunity presented itself
For
to
you to
allow
leave.
you to manifest what you already thought and think based on what you believe, identify with, have values in, and exposure. And now here comes the opportunity at the crossroads of choice. So to me, all of it settles on those 5 principles, but that could be just a sieve that I use to um, create sanity in the way I process life and society and culture globally. That's just me. Did you hear what I said, man? Where'd you go, Nubian? Did I say too much?
No, I'm right here, bro.
I was like, wait, this is a 5-0 show here?
5-0. I'm here.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
bro.
that's how I, again, that's just how I think about stuff.
Well, I'm gonna stick around this topic because really, I kind of wanted to deal with this relationship piece for a minute. I just never shifted over into it. So I think we'll start talking about, relationships because it's just like that little piece that I was sharing about the old man said, don't ever get to a point where you stop touching, your sister, your girl,
Yeah.
flesh, flesh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And little keys like that, it may just help somebody, in the
Yeah.
relationship. And I'm gonna talk with some sisters that like to probably, come on and chop it up with us and get their perspective. But the type sisters that have something of value to share and not no dumb stuff, because we have enough dumb stuff. We need substance that is going to help our people. I just can't, I don't have the quit, give up spirit that, I look at, see what's happening with our people, and I just shake my head and leave it alone. Because all of us, everybody don't think the same. That very well could be people that actually benefit from conversations like this, just listening. Get some type of inspiration. You could probably make one little simple statement and fix some major issues with some people. Just giving them food for thought. I listened to the brother Philip, uh, the Philip Scott experience over at African Diaspora News Channel, and the brother he reminded me a lot of myself. He don't have no deep script speech that he wrote up. He definitely is knowledgeable about his topic. He's done his research, especially when you're dealing with current event news or something like that. He done did his research real good to have all this points tight, but it's just his off the dome dialogue. He just got some simple, down to earth wisdom that he be sharing, and as he be on this,
Right.
as he be on this show, I turn the speaker on and just be moving through the house listening. I be laughing. He sound like a brother. We just sitting at the table drinking some orange juice, talking smack, but he making a lot of sense.
Uh-huh.
And he have a large audience. That's the type of information a lot of our people could benefit from.
Right.
Just simple, down to earth intellect that says, dust, dust, and dust. Because in this world of noise and confusion and chaos and confusion, who really is speaking with intelligence to kind of show you the way? Everybody ain't stuck on stupid. All the sisters ain't nuts. All the brothers ain't nuts. There are plenty of brothers and sisters that actually are looking for inspiring men like you, inspiring men like me, and other inspiring Black brothers and sisters with some sense, still left with some sense in this senseless world, to sit up and say some simple stuff like, wow, that makes sense. And so we have to get to talking. So one of my listeners, he says that his mother and father tunes in to every show that I put up. He said because they like the way I talk and share certain things. And he said one major point that they really love about the Nubian King show is Nubian King don't be doing all that cursing and everything. MF this, GO this, and SOB that, you know. I don't like that either, because I think that, you know, when a person get out here publicly and they just be cursing like that, it makes you look kind of low in my mind. You know, like your intellectual capacity is down there around the ankles. You don't have to do that, you know, to share your thoughts and your wisdom. You know, simple stuff like for the young ladies that want to get a man or want to be with a man, once you have gotten his attention and he's starting to pay attention to you, cook a meal for him, invite him over. I guarantee you, you know how to cook up a good dinner. Whew, that dude gonna be with you better than he be over there with McDonald's. Cause a good home cooked meal, shit, talking about some greens, beans, a couple of pieces of chicken or some fish and some cornbread. Not cornbread, but cornbread. You know, slap some butter on top of it. Shit. Oh boy, he'll be knocking on your door every day, sister. So cook up the meal, you know. But then they've been convinced I ain't finna be cooking and cleaning for nobody. I ain't finna be nobody's slave. And then when you look at their house, so you don't have to say that. If you ain't clean up for yourself, look at that rat pen you living in. So partner, that's what you're gonna be looking for. Like you know, if you're trying to get to know this woman, you better go do a background check. Like she gonna Google you and do a background check. You better get over to her house, see her mom and dad and everybody, family, and see what kind of people she's grown up around. Because that's exactly what you finna get into. And you talking about having children, she may have the big breast, the big booty, the lips and the hips and looking all toasty and delicious, but that ain't gonna raise the children good looks. Her mind is gonna raise them children. And so if you talking about getting with a woman and start you a family, you better have some points on your book that you checking for. Because yeah, she could be out there with the looks. And then they got them for you. All the booties and beauties and breasts and everything. But what kind of mind does she have? Do she know what 3 + 3 is? You know? And so what kind of children you gonna have? That's who's gonna raise the children, the mind of your woman. I remember I was over to the friend of my house, and his wife was at work. So it was me, him, and his 2 children. He got a boy and a daughter, and the little daughter just starting to walk, you know. So she's a little bit of something moving around the house. And you know, little babies that small just stare at everybody, especially you a new person came in house. She's just gonna be staring you down for a while. Stare you down so tough, make you nervous. Like, child, will you look at something else? No, I'm looking at you. You know, so the child standing over there staring you down, reading your spirit. And so, you know, me and my brother, we there chopping it up, having a good old time. His son playing with the tablet, the daughter staring me down. She looking, ain't bothered. So eventually she finally came over and got a little friendly. And it was cool. So, you know, I stressed out. I say, man, I'm a little tired. So I stretched out on the couch, popped the movie and watched that new, what was that new? Oh, man. I forgot the name of the movie. Captain America. Yeah, where the brother playing Captain America. It's a good movie. So I watched that. And then I happen to ask, I say, man, when your wife come home? Because, you know, I'm kind of, you know, like I said, I'm old school. I didn't want to be stressed out all over the house to do, you know, brother, woman come in, you know, the friend lay it all back, you know. So I set up. I say, bro, when your wife come in, he said, right now, she should be here now. I said, okay, I set up just in time. Shown up 5 minutes later, she was coming through the door. Hey, how you doing? Hey, what up? So the daughter the baby girl, she you know, all that kind of thing.
Mhm.
My man, I don't know what it was. That little baby screamed and hollered and hollered and screamed and screamed and hollered. To me, a man who had raised 6 children, got up and I had to leave. The child just I can't take this, man. I said, So I asked the brother, I say, man, what's happening with your baby girl? He shook his head and said, man, it's like that every time my wife come home. What?
You're so excited she can't stand it.
Shit, I'm like, dude, it's supposed to be the other way around. When moms come home, everything get quiet. That little girl hollered at man. So I think the mother was giving her a bath. But I remember when I used to bathe my children, bro, they didn't holler and scream like that. They had a good time. You know, dad, my wife was somewhere in the house and she asked would I bathe one of my children. I think it was one of my sons, right? So yeah, he little bitty brother. so we got this big old, beautiful, brand new baby tub. She liked to bathe him in, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm old military. You can't be standing in the same muddy water and reach down and throw it over you and think you cleaning off. That same dirt that ran off your butt is down there in the water. Then you pick it up and put it back on you and you think you clean. No, you need fresh water coming down. Right. You know, you soap up, rinse off with fresh water and you clean. So, you know, man, it's funny. I took the boy, I ran the water in the sink, the kitchen sink. It's a big old sink. You would see this big, nice, beautiful house, big old nice sink. So I got the water just right. I put him down in the sink, slapped him up full of soap. He laughing and joking, playing with the water. Had a good old time. Man, my ex-wife came there. What are you doing, bathing my baby in this sink? I said, why not? Why not? Look at him. He had a good time. Woo! So I'm laid down on the couch thinking, man, why is this child screaming so hard? He like, bro, it's like that every time she come home. I'm like, dude, but when the mama come home, the child's supposed to be all happy. She's screaming harder like she pinching a toenail or something. Anyway, these young folks, man, I just, you know what? Let me go. I'm gonna have to roll on with it, partner. I check in next time. So I just told him, man. Anyway, bro. It's always good chopping it up with you. You got any closing statement from the 5-0 show?
Man.
About relationship?
The thing I would say is try to hear the other side. Try to understand the other side. You may not necessarily have to agree with it, but try to understand the other side. And don't quit. Don't give up. If that's the relationship you want to be in, do like my mama said, just don't leave. Period. That's what I got to say. With Eric Evans at the 5-0 Show, where faith, inspiration, values, exposure, and opportunity collide. Next time at the Crossroads of Choice.
And it's been the Nubian King chopping it up with the great 5-0. We had a good time for you just because we love you. Loving you from the basement of our heart all the way up to the attic of our mind. Loving you 24/7. That means what? We love you all the time. Shalom, shalom.